Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Sasquatch Speaks. This is Sasquatch, otherwise known as Gavisas. Thank you all for coming by today. Hopefully, this will be somewhat informative, I guess. I'm not really sure if I'm trying to teach anyone anything, just sort of postulate ideas and thoughts that I've had that perhaps some other people may find interesting. To wit, today's topic, I want to apologize for the very somber mood set by yesterday. Like I said, it's just something that was important to me. But today, we're going to move on to unique experiences. Specifically, and I know that it could be it's a very broad topic, but I'm actually going to narrow it down considerably. Just today, when I picked up new glasses, and because I wear glasses, I need them to see. My eyes are incredibly bad. I can only see unaided. And in a clear and detailed fashion, about 4.5, maybe 5 inches in front of my face. I've been wearing glasses since I was maybe 11 or something. Probably even before that. Yeah, probably way before that. Probably since I was 8 or 9. But that's not really the point. The point is, all of the other times before, and I mean all of the other times, going back to whenever the heck it was that I first got glasses, I've always gotten them from some sort of large chain sort of group, like DOC or Pearl Vision or Lens Crafters or something like that. I don't even know if DOC is still around. It might have been bought out by Lens Crafters or something. But every other time I've gone to get glasses, I've gotten it from one of those large corporations. Except for this time. This time, changes in insurance and stuff. I ended up going to a smaller, locally owned, single business owner sort of eye doctor, and the experience there was completely different. I mean, the machines were all the same. But it was much more welcoming, much more friendly. When I walked in there, the staff, they greeted me. They're like, "Oh, we were waiting for you." They made me feel special. They walked in, they talked with me the whole time. They didn't just leave me in a dark room and kind of well, does this one look better? Does this one? And I mean, there was that point because they didn't have to get my prescription. But throughout the entire thing, we're cracking jokes, talking about each other, getting to know one another. And it was a very personal experience as opposed to, the sort of clinical way that it's approached in most large corporation eyeglass facilities. I mean, even down to the point where the people in those in the larger stores, they all look the same, they all dress the same. They're given scripts to handle all the sort of problems and situations that come up. How to handle this customer or this situation. It's efficient, but it's not necessarily appealing. Like I said, I walked into this little itty bitty tiny corner store. It's 2 doors down from the place I got my hair cut. I didn't even know it was there until I was like, "Oh, I know where this is." Then Jen actually showed up there. It's oh, my barber's right over there. But that got me thinking about more than just, eyeglasses. I'm certain all of you at some point or another have gone out to some manner of restaurant. And generally, just because of their prevalence, you've probably gone and eaten in some sort of a chain restaurant. And I don't know, whether it's fast food or casual dining or fine dining, whatever it is, they all have some sort of large conglomerate chain that owns them one way or the other, or generally. But it's kind of a hobby, not really a hobby, but I suppose it's just a manner of doing things that me and my mother share, that the other members of my family don't necessarily appreciate. Is that when we go someplace other than our immediate area, and even in our immediate area, when it's just the two of us, or just one or the other of us, and it's okay, well, we need something to eat, and we're gonna go out to eat. We don't have anything prepared. We're going to go out to eat. what we tend to do is we go to one of those little mom and pop sort of restaurants that's like started by great grandma Edith 30 years ago, and just kind of grew up from there. Or one of my favorite restaurants right now is called the Hill City Grill, and they're just popped up out of nowhere in this vacated Ramshorn. The Ramshorn was shut down, and then they moved in there, and it's just great food. I've been in there every single, like 10 or 12 times, ordered a different thing off the menu every time I've been in there. And it's one of those places that you cannot order a bad thing off the menu because everything is great. And it got me thinking, because I mean, there have been doing that, you're going to get burned a couple times, and there have been a couple places me and my mother gone into where just like the food there was just terrible. But even that was like an experience that was like, okay, well, it was something that was like shared. It's like, okay, well, that was something that we did, ha ha ha, we'll laugh about that for a couple months, and then we'll move on, we'll get over it, we'll find a decent place to go. But most of those places have not only a better atmosphere, like I described at the dentist's office, than like, Chili's or certainly any sort of fast food restaurant, or let's see, what else is there, Olive Garden, anything that's like conglomerate owned or large corporation. Just the wait staff and the ownership is always much more friendly and interactive with the people that walk in the door. One of my favorite restaurants that I've only ever been in once, it's called the Angry Trout. It's like just a little bit north of Sandusky, Ohio. Me and my mother again had gone down to Ohio for a business trip, on the way back we were like, hey, let's stop off and see some sights and stuff. So we went into Put-in Bay. Great place there. Really expensive to eat on the island though, so we're like, oh, we're not going to eat. So we came back before nightfall, and as we're driving north, we came across this little sort of docking area with this one little tiny sort of ramshackle looking restaurant called the Angry Trout. And we were like, well, we love these type of places. We walked in there, and again, just some of the best food we've ever had. Incredibly friendly service, incredibly friendly people, and it was just it's so refreshing to me whenever I can get into a situation like that where there's some benefit to going small time, and it really does make me wonder, just with the vast difference. I mean, I could understand it if there was like a little bit of a difference, like, okay, well, the portion size is a little different, or the prices are a little cheaper, or they have like an extra waiter running around somewhere so that they can catch up overflow or something. I could understand that maybe. But when the entire atmosphere is different, to the point where it's like, I want to go to these more mom and pop type of places that are just like I said, they only have one location sort of thing, to the exclusion of large conglomerates, as opposed to like, both of them together, sometimes one, sometimes the other. I mean, if it was up to me, I would never step foot in another fast food or chain-owned restaurants ever again. And I know that's kind of like, whoa, it's not really all that important thing. It's kind of a big thing to say. Like, well, I would rather just go to these mom and pop type of restaurants. Just even with the ones like I said, I've been in, some of them just bad, really bad, and I can't imagine how they were open at all. Maybe I ordered the wrong thing or something off the menu. I don't know, but what I ordered there, or the wait staff or the service there, wasn't great. But the majority of them are so good that I would have no problem giving up all of the assorted things that come with. Like I said, the large conglomerates, and all the advertising and things like that. I would have no problem not going to those places ever again, just because most of my good experiences come from these out of the way places that you only have one location. And like I said, it got me thinking, like, wow, well, why is it that the big corporations are in business at all? I mean, I can't be the only one who thinks this way, and certainly I'm not, because there's active meeting groups of people who come together to find ways to stamp out or defeat big corporations. There's like in different cities and stuff. There's groups called the Downtown Development Association or something like that, who literally their only job, or like what is it? Chamber of Commerce is. A lot of those have. I know in like West Bloomfield and Oxford, around Michigan, at least those places I know of in Michigan, their chambers of commerce have met and agreed that no fast food restaurants or chain restaurants shall exist within the borders of their town, and there are none. And it's I mean, they're on the corners, like just across the border, but there are none within that township or the village or however they would portion it out. And it's striking to me that even with like concerted group efforts to not have these places anymore, that they are still around. And probably a big part of that is that those big corporations have advertising, and that kind of leads into the next portion of this, which is like shopping centers and stores like that. Because I was thinking about, okay, well, the food is better at the mom and pop places, but like I was like just in Oxford a couple days ago for business reasons, and looking around, and like I said, all these mom and pop sort of restaurants, and like I want to come back here and just like stay in the hotel for a week, and I'll eat every one of these different restaurants every single meal, and it'll be wonderful, and I'll go home and I'll weigh like 600 pounds, but I don't care because it'll be great food. But at the same time, a lot of their actual retail stores are empty. And I mean, when I say empty, I mean like nobody's in there. And I was wondering, well, why is there a disconnect? Because everyone's in the restaurants. The restaurants are full 24 hours a day. Like I said, to the exclusion of the larger chain restaurants, which makes me, again, wonder how there are still people to populate the chain restaurants and the mom and pop places. But I guess I just don't know the numbers and figures on it. Plus, there are people who are eating at home and all kinds of stuff like that. So maybe I just don't understand the logistics of it fully enough to really get a grasp on how that is. But walking around, I'm walking into all these retail stores, and there's literally no one in them. I mean, there's of course the owner and the people who work there, but that was it. And I was down there at like peak hours, so you'd think there'd be like someone walking around or poking their head in and say, "Hey, what's going on here?" None of that. Completely empty. By the way, I should just throw this in there. I'm fairly sick. You probably maybe noticed it. I think I mentioned it in the video yesterday. I'm actually fairly congested right now, so that's probably why I sound a little bit different than normal. Hopefully I don't sound better, because this will be a tough thing to recreate when I am actually, feeling well. But yeah, just that's one thing that I thought I should throw in there. That's what I wanted to say. Anyway, but I realized that these little not chain, but little independent retailers, not connected to anyone, are actually at a disadvantage, because not only do most of the larger big box stores, Walmart, Sam's Club, those are both basically part of the same corporation, but Meijer, Kmart, Sears, whatever sort of brand chain those are for actual items rather than food or food services, they're at a grand disadvantage, not just because they only have one location, but also because large chain stores have the advantage of telling people what they want. And what I mean by that is that whenever there's some sort of new toy or something that comes out, there's always a commercial for it. And at the end of the commercial, it says, "Can be found at these retailers." And it's always like Walmart, Meijer, Kmart, Sears, whatever it is. Like, okay, well, this TV can be found at Best Buy. Wonderful. And this one can be found over here at GameStop or something like that. And people go, okay, well, great, so I'm going to go in there. And it's like there's other places that offer either the same products or similar, but because they're not a part of that chain, people don't even think to look there. And it's like, okay, well, how... At the same time, we're saying, okay, well, how is it possible that there are still chain restaurants? How are there still mom-and-pop retail places? Because I can actually see the chain restaurants more because they do have that advertising and the concept of basically telling people what they want. Well, you want unlimited salad, soup, and breadsticks at Olive Garden for I think it's like $6, something like that. Or you want grilled steak or something like that at Applebee's, whatever they do. I don't know why anyone would ever want to go to McDonald's. I've been there before. As a kid, I was there a lot, but the older I get, the less I want to go. To the point of I will actively do just about anything else I can conceivably do to not go there. It's just not fun for me anymore. And looking at like the play places and things like that are still around. As a kid, they're kind of cool, but now as an older person, I'm like, I don't even think when I have kids if I want to put them in there because that doesn't look clean or safe or anything else like that. So like, just don't want anything to do with those. But so like I said, for restaurants, it's a completely different thing because yes, they have the ability to say, okay, well, you want this. And it's like, well, no, I want something else. Other people are like, well, okay, well, I will accept the product that you're trying to sell me on, and I will go to your location and I'll eat said product. But, or like I said, people have the option, and like I said, the cognitive ability, I do, to say, well, I don't want that. And instead I want to go and I want to support like the local businesses and local owners and grab some of their items and their food, which is better than yours, and generally it's cheaper and there's more variety, all sorts of great stuff like that. But for retail stores, I understand there's some specialty items that you can only get through retail stores. And I apologize for the horror beeping. I don't know why people decide to do that when it's late at night. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But highly rude too. There's not even anyone out there to beep at you, moron. Sorry. I'm having kind of a rough day. I'm getting mad at everything and getting incredibly off topic. I do apologize. I'm sorry. I need to be more controlled. But it's hard. Anyway, so like retail stores, I understand there's specialty items you can only get at certain stores, and certainly I was understanding that when I was going through Oxford because, like I said, that's all that is there. They're all privately owned, and some of them are really cool to go into, but they don't necessarily have anything that I would actively go and search out to buy. Case in point, I walked into a toy store, and generally when you walk into a toy store, like KB Toys or the toy section at Walmart or something like that, you're generally familiar with everything that's on the shelves. You can look around and go, okay, well, these are Legos and these are Barbie, and this is all the Marvel stuff, and these are the licensed products and things like that. But I walked into this privately owned toy store, and I recognized nothing. There was no branding. Well, there was branding, but there was no recognizable branding. Nothing that I had any sort of familiarity with or any sort of affinity for. And it's like, I understand what you're doing, and they're really cool looking toys, but the kids who you're trying to sell them to have no concept that they're even a thing that exists. And as I'm watching this, I'm like, well, not watching it, but as I'm observing this, I'm like, okay, so if no one knows you're here because you're a single location, this is the only place that you are, and you're selling things that no one even knows they want or has any concept that they are existing so that they might want them, how are you making any sales at all to remain solvent? And again, I don't understand the logistics of this enough to really grasp hold of it. Logistics in general are not my strong point, or demographics or anything else like that, to really grasp the meat of how these places are staying in business. I mean, I don't understand how chain restaurants are staying in business when non-chain restaurants are so much better, and I don't understand how non-chain retail stores are still in business when chain retail stores are apparently better. Because not only better, like I said, there's really cool stuff in that toy store. But it wasn't stuff that I'd ever heard of or knew how it worked or had ever seen any sort of... There's a difference between food and a hard product. Because food is an experience. Whether people want to admit it, like, oh, it's fuel or whatever else like that. Food is an experience. It's something that you can actively partake in. But a hard product is something that you want to have some sort of concept of before you buy it. It's something that you want to sort of try out. Even if it's just mentally. It's like, okay, well, like video games. You see a trailer for them, you go, oh, okay, I can see, say, like Monster Hunter. You see this grand sweeping vista. There's gigantic monsters, a whole bunch of weapons. You swing the weapons, you hit the monsters, they fall down, they die, and you get to be surrounded in this great encompassing world, and you get to wear the parts as armor, and all of that can be encapsulated within the trailers and stuff like that. And so you can kind of get a rough idea or a basic understanding of everything that's going to happen in that game, even though it's just this tiny little microcosm of all that will be. And to that extent, mentally, you're able to sort of try it out before you buy. Try before you buy, only without actually trying it. As opposed to, but as opposed to like food. But when you come into a place where it's like there is no sort of advertising, and you're just kind of walking blindly into a place that you don't know about, that's offering products that you are unfamiliar with, how do you make that sale? And it's baffling to me as to how these people are staying in business. Like I said, it's sort of cutting the end against the middle. Whoa! And I just broke my chair again. Congratulations, you were all here for the 4th break of this chair. Oh, God. Help me. And I think that would be a really good place to end this off, because I'm just kind of rambling, and like I said, I just broke my chair again. So, yeah. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are excited about me breaking my chair again. If you did enjoy, the like rating down below would be very much appreciated. If not, a dislike rating and a nasty comment telling me to buy better equipment. And yeah, I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.